Jean, you have a question you'd like to talk to Kimberley about. What would you like to ask her?
Thank you for taking my question. I'm wanting to redo my fireplace, and I'm looking for some ideas.
I'm happy she asked me about that and not what are you supposed to do with Durapans.
Because Kimberly and I in the kitchen, we don't know. I don't know. I think you cook.
I think you give
them. They look nice on the counter.
They're gorgeous. Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, okay, right? Right, okay. So Jean has this fabulous home already. It's kind of traditional, and like a lot of people, she's thinking about maybe it's time to make it a little bit more modern, a little bit more contemporary, and start with the fireplace, which is not by any stretch of the imagination the worst fireplace we've all seen on City Line. So it's actually not horrible, but I understand you're kind of just ready for something new. So a couple of different options here. One would be to do something sort of transitional and create, I would still go with a square because you're still a traditional setting. If you do with those long, lean horizontals, it would really make all the furniture in the room feel sort of tired, and that's not the point. You want to be able to bring it into the house, update things without making everything else look terrible beside it. So I like the idea of a square. If you are going to put a television over the fireplace, though, you need to bring that mantle down as low as possible, because the higher that mantle is, the higher the TV is, and then you're cranking your neck to watch City Line.
Yes.
And we want you to be very comfortable when you're watching City Line.
You're watching it.
You should watch City Line however you like. And then this, I think, would be really fun. Either you could do this with a stone, a narrow horizontal stone, or you could even do it with a wood, like a teak, since we're talking 70s. Teak wood slats would look, you know, bitchin'. Can I say bitchin'? Because that's,
no, you totally
what we said in the 70s. Okay, well, they'll bleep it out. They will bleep it out. But it certainly looks lovely, doesn't it? This will be my last time on City Line.
It was so good working with you, though.
It had to happen. It had to happen. This has been a great ride. Nice and clean and contemporary, and write in and save my job, please.
Are you done? You want to throw some more swears out there?
That's not technically a swear word nowadays.
Oh, well, if we're going to go with what's big nowadays, just say anything. Sheesh. All right, let's get to another question now. Jennifer, we're going to get Shai and Karen to answer this question for you. What would you like them to help you with?
We recently did a big kitchen renovation, blowing out a wall, but now I'm finding it's a little bit too open, and I'm looking for a way to maybe add a little bit more intimacy to the space.
See, that's what happens sometimes, right? You get rid of all the walls, and then you're thinking, oh, I can see everything now.
And the funny thing is that usually the question is exactly the opposite what we get here. We have a smaller space, or there are a lot of walls. How do we blow them out and actually make use of the space? So it's fun to actually have the flip way. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the structure itself, and then Karen is going to talk about the furniture. Yeah. So I think, first of all, an easy way to kind of, so this is the existing kitchen. I mean, beautiful. You guys did such a great job.
Thank you.
Like gorgeous. Stunning, stunning kitchen. The first thing that did jump out at me, though, is all the tile along the, from the front door all the way to the back, and then you have that transition into the hardwood, which a lot of homes do. I would take the tile out and just do hardwood throughout. I think that that's going to make it feel less defined in terms of, here's my very light tile, here's my very dark hardwood, and I think it's going to, it's just going to feel a little bit better. Now, in terms of structurally changing a little bit in order to create a little bit more privacy, is your wall actually comes up to here right now. So what we've done is actually extended it a little bit and done a very small return. So basically what that's going to do is it's just going to stop that sight line as you come in from the front door. And once you've changed the floors and create, have them all the same, that'll just be less of a transition between the walls to the floors, the floors to the kitchen floors. And I think that this little jet and return is just going to enclose it enough that it'll make you feel like it's a separate space.
Agreed. Now, even though you're trying to close it off a little bit, I feel like every kitchen, you want to be able to entertain, you want to be able to hang out. So the first thing I would do, I like the sofa in front of the window, and I'm assuming, TV's above the fireplace. But these two chairs, they should be swivel chairs. You want to be able to turn around, have conversation with everybody in the kitchen, and then also, if you're watching TV, you can swivel it this way and have a much better view to the TV. Now, the other thing that I would consider doing is a really big, beautiful, full-height mirror right in the foyer. And that way, that's going to, when you come in, it's going to reflect back the entire space and make it feel significantly bigger than it is. Put a console in front of it, a couple of lamps, and it extends then so this becomes living room space. And with Shai's suggestion of changing the floor, then you've got, you know, a much more open concept with this space, and you've got a little bit more privacy through here.
I think one of the last things also that I just wanted to touch on is that you have this long expanse here, which you were asking about what to do with your fire. There is a fireplace there and a television. So what we spoke about was, because you do have all this cabinetry along the kitchen wall, and it's essentially an extension of that same wall, I would do base cabinets here, but I would do floating shelves above. It'll just feel less harsh and less heavy instead of having a complete wall.
Exactly. You don't want to do a full wall built-in.
No, it'll be
it becomes too much, and then the whole house sort of feels like it's leaning to one side. So the floating shelves are definitely the way to go.
And it's good feng shui, right? Because when she goes into feng shui. See, that was not a swear word. It's feng shui.
But let's be honest, do we really know if it is? This is totally off topic, but it brings me back to, you know, there are those people who get those tattoos in some of the Asian alphabet, and they show those people that sometimes don't know what they got, and it's a bad word.
It's a bad word. I was thinking that the money goes into her house and it stays there, right? Doesn't it stay there? There's nothing obstructing it, so that's very important.
Nothing obstructing, and also there's no stairs right in front of the door, because stairs in front of the door, the money actually runs out.
Your chi runs out.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Keep your chi.
Keep your chi.